So we're back now with the Junior Super Minis. JSM, or I think we've just had them. So no, these are the Junior SM90 Bambinos that we're about to get out on circuit for race 2. So it's George Bowers in first position with Osif Mozi Masaka in second. Thomas Bond in third, who's the man on the mission in the last race. Let's see if he can do it again after a commiserated start with stalling on the grid. Mason Grizzly in fourth place, Daniel Stevenson in fifth, George Wood in sixth place, Ruby Ruth in seventh, Ralph Croft in eighth place, George Bartley in ninth, Billy Carter rounding out the top 10 on the number 85 bike with a 52.987. Jack Newton in 11th, Ollie Pearson in 12th, Soren Ramsson in 13th place, Luca Wilkinson in 14th, Charlie Ward in 15th with Charlie Pearson in 16th, Harry Pell in 17th place, Hudson Cooper in 18th, and our 19th rider, who I'm not sure who it is, but
it's one of those TXP moments.
Yeah.
So this is going to be an interesting race because this one will come down to which of our riders is the most skillful in the wet. And there's obviously a little bit of a pause because of the shenanigans from the previous race, but this is going to be quite an interesting scenario we've got now with all of the riders, effectively pretty much hitting the reset button, because it's not really clear who's going to be a really strong performance, who's going to be, you know, the top performer in this particular situation, because this is, you know, much tougher a race now, because we've had a torrential downpour. It was pretty, you know, pretty apocalyptic, but now it's stopped. There's no more rain scheduled by the look of it. It looks as though
blue sky.
that is a complete clear blue sky overhead now, so we're not going to get any more rain. The thing is now, we're going to get sunshine still, but it's going to be glassy over the top surface of the circuit. It's going to be a little bit well, it's going to be very slippery, very treacherous. You would say that the ideal conditions now are probably cut slicks again.
I would say they were cut slicks again now, yeah. This is the time for it. But we saw the bigger bikes there, which were much higher off the ground, struggle with these wet conditions. These bikes are much smaller and much closer to the ground. I reckon they're going to struggle as well.
Yeah, I think certainly we could see a few riders making a couple of mistakes. I mean, you've got to remember that these are the juniors. They're obviously still dipping their toe in the water, quite literally, this weekend. Obviously, a lot of them have experience, but some of them are still, you know, very much at the birth of their careers. So this is a tricky situation, but this is a good test of character. It's a good test of patience. This is one of those situations where you've obviously got to rely on your ability, but you've also got to have a little bit of courage and a lot of patience. You've got to be so careful.
There's the blue sky you can see on the stream. So and there's the massive cloud that went over us, and now look, we've got blue sky. So we've gone from April showers to lovely blue weather. So
Tracy Wookie on the Facebook streamer says you're getting the weather we had an hour ago. Blue skies and sun now. Oh, thanks for that. It's good to. It means I get to drive home in the sunshine at least.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, I get a lift home in the sunshine. I didn't drive or ride my bike down here or anything. So I thought it was a long way for me, in nearly 4 hours. So 4 hours of listening to the person driving a car. Oh, no, don't start me. But anyway, we're getting the SM90 Bambinos lining up on the grid. Lots of them in this race, and of course, going for those cut slicks. I can see one of the riders at the front there. It's the 71, I think that is on the full wets.
Yeah, the top four all are on full wets. Looks to me as though our rider in P6 on the grid, that's George Wood. I think George Wood's on cut slicks. So if he's got it right, then I think he's in for an absolute flyer of a race.
I think he's on slicks.
No, he is on slicks. You're right. He's not on cut slicks. He's on actually slicks.
Boy's insane. I wouldn't do that.
Wow.
But he knows something that I don't. But
okay.
Looks like we are good on the grid.
George.
Final preparation being done. Flags are up in the sky. Revs raise. And here we go again for SM Bambino's race 2. And it's a cracking start from second place on the grid. And it's Joseph Mozimustika in the 27 bike. He's absolutely had a killer start and has gone straight into first place. George Bowers in second position, but two stallers on the grid as well. Massive shame, we've got the 998 bike and the 76, both stallers on the grid there. But everyone else gets through, and they all go flying round.
That's Ollie Pearson and also very slow away Luca Wilkinson, so a real problem. But a really good battle. Is he winding you up there?
He was, yeah. He gave me a piece of paper that said you're walking home
Oh,
after my comment.
Well, fair enough. You shouldn't be rude. Anyway, there's always space in Mike. Anyway, yellow flags. We got somebody. We got 1, 2,
Oh,
3.
two riders. Oh, and it looks like a bad one. Oh, dear
me.
me.
So that's not a good position for us to be in, and that is a rider down on the floor. That could end up being a stoppage. We are on the Hans hairpin at that particular part of the course. Through to the lead after a shocking first lap. George Bowes has got straight into first position again from Joseph Mostica, Mason Greasley, then Carter, Croft, Tom Bond, then it's Stevenson and Wood.
And it's red flag.
Red
flags
flag,
come out.
that's the right call. That's absolutely the right call, red flags. So obviously if we've had a rider that's gone down, we need to make sure that safety comes first. In these conditions, it's an absolute no-brainer. You've got to stop the race. You've got to make sure that all of the riders are okay involved in the incident. There were 2 of them that went down initially, 3 that were involved in the incident. I think it might be Luca Wilkinson. Well,
no, he's just crossed the line.
Yeah, Wilkinson's come around again.
So the medical car.
So the medical car is obviously there at the scene. We need to make sure, obviously, that safety protocol is adhered to. There's no need to panic just yet, folks. Obviously, there has been an incident on the circuit, as you know, but we just need to make sure that safety protocol is adhered to first and foremost. The British Mini Bikes crew are obviously well versed in this. They know what to do in these situations. They've obviously got a very experienced crew of marshals, officials, medical team, and obviously everybody in at race control. They know what the situation is. They know what needs to be done in these situations. So we just need to let the protocol happen in the correct order. So it is what it is. We need to obviously make sure that that is done correctly. And then obviously when we have any further input, when we have any further information, then we can obviously go from there. But obviously it is going to be a tricky situation, and we can see just how treacherous the conditions are for the riders, because it's caught several of them out on that first start.
Yeah, definitely. So riders rejoined the grid, obviously as per what was said in the riders briefing earlier this morning. You can see off in the distance that the medical car is attending to the rider who is down on the floor. I'm sure he's getting the help he is needed, as the rest of the riders are again on the grid. So again, we've seen from these tricky conditions that the bike's really struggling out there with just holding it. So let's say the sky's cleaning, the sky's clearing, I should say. Trying to get my words out. The sun is starting to break out, but looks like we are again lining up on the grid. So red flag out due to an incident at Hans hairpin. Again, medical car is on scene. The red flag people giving the attention that is needed to the rider that has come down, who I'm not sure who it was, but we are trying to find out for you. But sun still coming out, and also the moon that you can see on the stream. I don't know where that camera is pointing, but I can't see the moon anywhere. But so going through some of the other comments on Facebook stream. So you still got come on Jack 135 from Katie Page on there. So you're seeing the number 11 bike on the grid getting a good talking to, and other riders as well, obviously all lining up. Looks like the rider involved in the incident is on his feet now, which is good to see. He's jumping in the medical car now, so it looks like he's in good spirits there. So the rider is up on his feet.
Yeah, I just watched the incident.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So just a quick announcement to the paddock. in that there is not going to be a trophy presentation today. It's going to be done at Teesside. So the trophy presentation will be at the second round of the championship at Teesside due to the delay in the schedule. So there's not going to be a podium presentation tonight. That will take place at the second round on the 20th and 21st of April at Teesside. So just
a trophy presentation.
Yeah, I like a good trophy presentation, but obviously it's not going to be till April. Just a word to the trackside folk that the incident in question, I did look back on it again, it was not a serious incident, it was just a low side from the rider in question, and he just tumbled a little bit on the exit, and obviously in the wet and greasy conditions it just made more sense to red flag the race rather than risk any further problems. So the rider in question is not badly hurt, it was just a precautionary measure that we took the red flags and did a medical check. That was the sensible thing to do.
Oh, definitely, yeah, I mean, so we heard in the safety briefing this morning, safety definitely comes first, fun, then competitiveness, but yeah, safety really playing paramount on that. So riders are coming back round after their exploratory lap. They're lining up again on the grid. It looks like we're going to get this race underway now. Now the sun has really come out, and a lot of these riders, of course, got their clear visors on. And there's a lot of glare from the circuit, Jake. There's a lot of glare, and this is going to make it really tricky out there. I can't even see the grid slots. I'm sure they can, but yeah, it looks like last few riders jumping on the grid now, and it looks like we are going to get going again very, very soon. So hopefully we get a good start again. Obviously we had a couple of stallers on the first lap of that one with the 998 and the 76, and they're back, of course, on the grid in their original grid slots. And we have got a bike actually that's coming off. I think, not sure what's happened there. It looks like maybe something with the chain.
Is that an engine seize, maybe?
No, I think the chain's come off, Jake.
Okay. So if obviously that does happen on the roll-up lap, and it can be a bit of a problem occasionally, but that is very frustrating and certainly a very irritating end to a race before it's even begun.
Definitely, but obviously we do need to get this race underway, so hopefully this bike can get out of the way. But yeah, real shame for that rider, real shame. It happens. Green flags are up in the air. Looks like we're ready to go. And we are almost racing, and there we go. It's a killer start again, off the line. And again, the 998 bike is stalled on the line. So another dismal start from the 998 bike. Real shame, but rest of the riders going through turns 2 and 3. Race leaders still in a close pack. First, second and third, it's Mozzie Mostica, George Bowes and Grizzly. And there's almost a very close Bowes. It's Bowes, yeah. Bowes to the inside for first.
Bowes goes into the lead again. A fantastic run down the back straight as he takes Joseph Mozzie Mostica as they go through to the hairpin. So George Bowes with plenty of confidence and stamina on the back straight. He's able to just charge through and take the lead before they even get to the braking zone, and then just line it up nicely through Hans hairpin. This time there's no major catastrophes, and actually on the circuit again goes the number 10, I think that is, or is that the 217? No, it is the 217 of Hudson Cooper. So Hudson Cooper joins in after the fact, but the racing continues on, and out in the lead it is George Bowes from Joe Mozzie Mostica, then Mason Greasley. Fourth is Ralph Croft doing a fantastic job. Good performance there from Crofty. And then Bond, Carter, Wood, Stevenson, Ruby Booth, and in 10th position is Jack Newton in front of Harry Pell and Luca Wilkinson.
Yeah, cracking start from Bowes again. Are we going to see a repeat from the first race where he almost lapped the entire field? But cracking race from George Bowes in that first one, and I suspect we're going to get the same on this one, hopefully.
Well, he's already lapped Hudson Cooper, as has Joe Mozzie Mostica, so they've gone through. As third place Mason Greasley, but then of course you've got to remember that Hudson Cooper only started the race towards the end of the first lap, so that's not really a major surprise in terms of the position he was on the racetrack. So there comes the leader down the main straight, George Bowes, having an absolutely cracking run in front of Joe Mozzie Mostica, and Mostica still running very good indeed. Greasley in third position, and it looks as though Joe Mozzie Mostica in second place has a very genuinely strong chance of emulating Dad James from earlier on, who took that fabulous victory.
He did indeed, so let's see how he gets on with that as the race progresses. With 2 laps in, George Bowes is still fastest man on the circuit. 50.688 is his fastest lap.
Problems for Cooper. Looks like Hudson Cooper's going to pull off again, and there's difficulties with the bike, unfortunately, on the run to the S's, so he has stopped the bike. That's a real shame, actually, because he was looking strong in that sharper end of the field, but Hudson Cooper now out of the race.
Real shame for Hudson Cooper, so down in 15th place on the 217 bike, but Ollie Pearson as well with the bad start, the 998, obviously stalling on the grid as well. But 10 laps to go. Here's your race leader crossing the line again. He's got his gap up to 2.895 seconds. So that was up from 1.444 seconds from the last lap. So really getting a good start. One of those bikes isn't sounding too healthy out there as it goes past the start-finish box. And the orange bike going around turn 2. I think it's Ralph Croft that is sounding like that one. But George Bowers still your leader. Second place, Mozzie Mostiger and Greasy in third place. You're currently looking at your George Bowers on the stream. Nice and smooth out there, Jake. Even in these wet conditions, he's still getting his knee down. He's still flying through, but absolutely steady rider.
I think we've identified who the person was that ended up in the accident early on. I think it's George Bartle. If it's not George Bartle, it's Soren Rasmussen. But I'm not sure. It's definitely one of those two because they're the only two who are absent from the fray. But I think it was George Bartle because it was around 9th place where that accident initially happened. So that's it. And up the inside, is that going to be a move for third position? Is that Greasley getting some hassle from Ralph Croft? That's the Pearsons having a nice little family battle by the look of it, actually. So they are still having a nice little tussle.
Oh,
and Harry Pell is in the mix there with Charlie Pearson. We're watching the 46 of Harry Pell, and there is Pearson trying to come around the long way. Not just about the leaders, it's also about the guys who are mixing it in around the field. Ruby Booth going through in 9th position in front of Wilkinson and Newton as they battle away. Pell and Pearson coming down the main straight. Where is George Bowes? Well, he is still leading the race in front of Joe Mozzie Mostiger, and George Bowes is just crossing the line now. So he goes through in first position. I'm going to listen for this slightly off exhaust that you can hear as they go past. Joe Mozzie Mostiger and Mason Greasley are fine. Is it going to be Ralph Croft? Let's have a listen as he comes past our position. Yeah, sounds all right.
Yeah, that sounds all right now.
Sounds okay.
It sounded terrible earlier.
Tom Bond, Billy Carter, no, they were okay. And George Wood and Dan Stevenson come through. Yeah, whatever it was, it seems to have cleared itself.
Yeah, no, sorted it out. Well, there you go. Sometimes what solves an engine is just to give it a good rev.
That's very true.
So solves the issue. He's currently looking at your race leader. It's the number 67, George Bowers, on your screen. He's coming up to some back markers. I think this is Ollie Pearson that we're looking at here on screen as they go through. And there's the number 46 just in front there as well, which is Harry Pell. So they're just coming across the line now with George Bowers. So George Bowers really getting through the field now. Fastest lap of the race, 49.275. That is George Bowers. And then you've got a personal best coming in. Ralph Croft, new personal best, 52.765 as well. As the packs here are still trying to get through back markers there. But Bowers managing to get past the majority of the back marker pack there. Other personal bests that are coming in, you've got George Wood, who set a new personal best, 52.957 as well. He's currently running in 7th place on the 93 bike. He's having a good little race there. Not many battles I can see happening on the circuit at the moment. You've got a train of 4 cars, bikes I should say, and again another few bikes just coming across the line now, but that is your race leader crossing the line on the 67.
Yeah, George Bowes having a really good run here in the 51s. At the present moment, doesn't need to run any faster than that really. Joe Mozzie Mostiger has got a bit of a pressure now though from Mason Greasley. They're going through turn 1, and you can see that on the stream. It is Joe Mozzie Mostiger and Mason Greasley now together. Greasley has caught Joe Mozzie Mostiger, but now they're in the middle of the traffic, so this could get really difficult for Joe Mozzie Mostiger. He has to slam on the brakes as he comes through there, and Mason Greasley not out of the war zone yet either. Excuse me. Very tricky position for Mozzie Mostiger as he tries desperately to hang on to things as they come through. He goes round the outside there and deals quite smartly with Harry Pell. And now nice. Mason Greasley's going to try a similar sort of manoeuvre to get back onto the tail of Joe Mozzie Mostiger, but he's dealt with the traffic a lot more smartly than Mason Greasley on this occasion. 3 laps to go, 4 laps to go in fact actually, because George Bowes comes across the line quite a long way before Joe Mozzie Mostiger and Mason Greasley. The gap is 9.5 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. He's given us a repeat of what happened on the first race, but George Bowes really flying through this field here. Mozzie Mostiger really struggling again past these back markers. Got held up by another one there. Again, I think that was Ruby Booth maybe on the 76.
I think you're right.
No, it's Luca Wilkinson, sorry. Right. So Luca Wilkinson got caught behind there. But managing to get past now as they go into the horseshoe section of the track. sun is blaring now, and I can barely see a thing because I haven't got my sunglasses.
Do you know, it's almost as bad as when the weather was absolutely torrential downpour, because we've got this massive haze from the sun. The sun is just in our eye line here on the commentary box, so if we try and look out the window, we get blinded. So it is a bit tricky, but George Bowes continuing to lead as he comes through. There's Joe Mostica being chased by that man, Mason Greasley. So Greasley is still there. He's lost a little bit of ground, though, in the traffic, and that's where essentially a chance of second position is basically losing away. So they continue to charge up the hill towards Hans Hairpin. But George Bowes is already quite a few seconds up the road from that, and is already through Buttons, named after Jenson Button, where, of course, this circuit is where he started his professional motor racing career, just down the road from his hometown of Frome. And over the line comes George Bowes. 2 laps to go, and he's been absolutely on top form here today in the dry and in the wet.
Yeah, definitely. I think Clay Pigeon is his new favourite circuit. He's flying through it, but we got a shot of the S's here as he goes, still clipping those apexes, so he's not afraid of it. As you can see, one of the younger riders there in the back who broke down earlier, which is unfortunate. Again, I think it was a chain that came off or something, but still flying round. But gap now to 11.6 seconds for George Bowes against Mostica. How's he managing that?
It's just different class, isn't it? It's just different class, and that's, you know, the thing about the kids at these stages of their career. You've got to remember they're at the starting point. I've said this about any form of junior racing competition, whether it be on the short ovals in stock car racing, whether it's karting or whether it's mini bikes. You just get to that one race in your career when it clicks. You get that developmental shift and everything comes together. The apexes, the braking points, the acceleration bike, the apex clipping, you know, the overtaking, the undertaking, the undercuts, the overcuts, every little element, it just comes together, and all of that comes with confidence. Once all of those pieces of the jigsaw puzzle are bolted together, you get the full picture. And with this lad, George Bowes, he's just in that rhythm, he's in that element, and it is the complete package now. He's just got so far ahead of his rivals, it's not going to be long before he's making the next step up.
No, exactly that, and we're on to the last lap now as well. We're still watching your racing of George Bowes as he goes round the final bend onto the start-finish straight now to take the checker flag. Here he comes again. Fantastic race win from George Bowes there on the number 67 bike. Joseph Mostica is on his way. He is 12.5 seconds behind, but here he comes across the line now. There he is to take second place. Just behind him, Mason Greasy, so still very close between first and second place there. But a gap of 13 seconds to George Bowes there in first place. Thomas Bond from the 54 bike crosses the line. He goes into fourth place with Ralph Croft just behind him in fifth. Ruby Booth finishing in ninth place and Charlie Pearson in 10th with Luca Wilkinson in 11th. Ollie Pearson moving down into 12th place. Billy Carter and George Wood finishing 7th and 6th place respectively. And Daniel Stevenson in 8th place with Harry Pell in 13th as they cross the line. Jack Newton 14th and Hudson Cooper in 15th place, 10 laps down, which is obviously the rider who had the issue just before the S's.